Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Ishi's Domain. Today, we are going to get into our Marvel Tokon character predictions. Nine characters that haven't been released yet. It's supposed to have 20 characters in it. So, let's talk about it. Let's get into it. And thanks for tuning in. See you later.
All right. Now going into my predictions and kind of throwing in the logic for the predictions on who I think would actually be in this Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls game in the base roster, right? So, basically, what I had come up with when I was looking at the characters that they've already revealed, right? The ones that stuck out to me the most were Magic and Danger from the last trailer. And forgive my clicking, I'm pulling up my notes right here because there was a couple different things that I wanted to talk about regarding those two. But Marvel and Danger, Magic and Danger, right? Those two, and mainly Magic, was kind of what I based my predictions off of for this. Because what I've noticed about Marvel recently, along with the Marvel Cinematic Universe that they're doing, they are promoting like certain characters, and Magic has been one of those that they have been promoting for a good while. Magic had really never had her own solo comic book. She was always in like the X-Men or in different variations of the X-Men, like X-Men Gold and the New Mutants and all those stories. She was always there somewhere, usually in the background. And for a while, she was just like a charter bus, basically, for the X-Men to be able to teleport places and everything. But there was rarely any like solo Magic comics. I mean, there's like one that I can think of where she was like the sorcerer training with Doctor Strange to be Sorcerer Supreme or something like that. But she's had her story, and but it wasn't her own solo story. It was within the X-Men comic books. But as of recently, starting back to around like 2018, maybe 2020, when the New Mutants, the movie, released, right? What I'm getting at is they promoted Magic with that New Mutants because she was just basically the star of that movie. And then a little bit later, that's when they announced her in Marvel Rivals, that she would be in Marvel Rivals. Well, Marvel Rivals released that December of 2024, I want to say, and the month after that, they released a comic starring Magic. And like I said before, with Magic being the main character, and like I said before, Magic really didn't have any comics where it was like Magic issue number 1, right? And so I could see that they really were pushing to promote Magic, which they've done pretty well because now she's in Fortnite, and she's like, if you go on Twitter or X, whichever one you want to call it, you'll see them posting like comparisons between Rivals and Tokon and Fortnite on the designs for the character, all that good stuff. But basically, what I was looking for when I was coming up with these characters, right, is characters that they have been promoting recently, whether it be through movies, whether it be through comics, other games, or a combination of both, characters that they want in the spotlight, because I believe those are the characters that they're trying to get into the spotlight so they can sell more and just feed into their other stuff. And so I did my research and tried to find some characters that they have been promoting like that and try to fit them into these 9 slots in Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. And so that's kind of criteria I had when I was coming up with the characters. And what made it a little more interesting is in the in the trailer, at the very end, you'll see um, Storm, her picture. You'll see it lights up and it's filled in, it's colored in, which implies that there are going to be 5 teams of like 4 people to fill up that 20 character roster. And so we already know all the ones that are going to be on the base Unbreakable X-Men roster. So first, let's get started with the Avengers team. So we already know that there's going to be 5 teams consisting of 4 people on each team for this base roster, making up a total of 20. With the Avengers team, we already have Captain America and Tony Stark, Iron Man. So those two, with those two, we also have a stage where there is a statue and it has Captain America, Tony, and Thor all in their classic costumes or their classic outfits, whichever one you want to call it. And we know that Captain America and Tony will both be getting their classic costumes, which leads us to believe that Thor, since he's in the background in the statue, we should be seeing him, and he will also be receiving his classic costume. I think that's pretty a shoe-in. And Thor is one of those super popular members of the Avengers team. Okay, so this last character is where it gets a little bit tricky, because the obvious answer would be the Hulk, right? Hulk, super popular. I mean, he's never really faded out of popularity. He's got some crazy stuff going on in the comics right now with the Infernal Hulk. If y'all haven't seen that, like, check that out. That is crazy. But I don't think it would be the Hulk, if I'm being honest with you. I think the choice is just way too obvious for it to be the Hulk. So I'm going to round out the Avengers team with there being three males, being Captain America, Tony Stark, and Thor, possibly being on the team. I think the team needs to be kind of rounded out with a female character that would fit pretty well into the anime fighting game aesthetic. And the character I believe that would fit into there is Natasha Romanoff. No, I'm joking. No, not Natasha, not Black Widow. The character I actually think it would be Wasp. And I don't know, a lot of y'all probably looking at me like, Wasp. Why Wasp? Think about it though. Wasp has been pretty popular in the Ant-Man movies, right? She's been pretty popular since her introduction in the Ant-Man movies. She's still relevant to the MCU. Back when the Avengers cartoons were coming on, Wasp was pretty much a main member of the Avengers back then. And I mean, of course, in the comic books as well, right? And I think the cute Wasp aesthetic with the bumblebee-ish looking thing for her costume and everything, I think that would fit really well into a anime style fighter. And I think that her abilities, as far as her little blasters that she got from her hand, and the flight and the flying and the miniaturizing, I think that would fit really well. I think she would be very visually good to look at with the cast of the Marvel Rivals, because they're always going for popular characters, cute girl characters, strong macho male characters, and everything. I think she would fit all those. And of course, she's a part of the Avengers in the comics, in the TV shows, in the movies. So yeah, I think that would be good. So for the Captain America team, we've got Captain America, we've got Iron Man, we've got Thor, and we've got Wasp. Being the Spider-Man team. And so the Spider-Man team is going to be a pretty interesting one, because There's a couple different ways that a Spider-Man team could go, right? You could have like the Web Warriors or the Spider-Verse family or the Spider family, whichever one you want to call it. You could have like street level heroes. You could have just straight the New York heroes, right? There's a lot, or you could even do Spider-Man and his fantastic friends or spectacular friends, right? But the thing that kind of it doesn't really throw a wrench into it, but the thing that kind of lets me know kind of where they're going with this team is the inclusion of Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel, another popular character who has been in a movie with the other Marvels. That'll come up later. With the movie with the other Marvels, being Captain Marvel and Photon, I believe, who had also taken the name of Captain Marvel at one point, I believe, in the comic books. And she had her own like TV series, Netflix TV series for Marvel. So their relation, Spider-Man and Miss Marvel, they're really good friends in the comic books. I have to say that Miles would also be in the Spider-Man team. Number one, his connection to Spider-Man is plain and simple, right? I don't really even think that needs explaining. His connection to Miss Marvel, they've teamed up. They've been on the same team for a while. They know each other pretty well, just like Miss Marvel and Peter do as well. And they all communicate with each other. So you have Miles, you have Miss Marvel, and you have Peter. So for the last character, Daredevil. Yeah. So for the last character, Daredevil, he fits because he's also a New Yorker. He is actually in one of the Marvel Tokon stages, looking out the window. You can see Matt Murdock just looking out the window as the other characters fight. And he's teamed up with Spider-Man on a lot of occasions. They even share some of the same villains, right? Being Kingpin. Sometimes Kingpin's a Spider-Man villain. Sometimes he's a Daredevil villain. So for the street level team, we've got Spider-Man, Miles, Miss Marvel, and Daredevil. All right, basically 3 teams down and 2 more to go. The next one is a tough one, if I'm being honest with you, because there's the connections here are kind of strange. But we have Star-Lord, Peter Quill, and we have the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider. And I'm thinking like Midnight Suns, I'm thinking Cosmic Team, like outer space Cosmic Team. And there's a lot of different ways that this could go. And I'm going to go more toward the cosmic side of it with this prediction, with it being with me having stuff to back it up through like the movies and everything. So the team is going to be led by Star-Lord, Peter Quill.
Okay, pause right quick. I don't know what my mind was thinking when I was making that, but Ghost Rider is actually going to be the leader of this team. It doesn't really change my predictions much, but when I was looking over this, it kind of bothered me that I said Star Lord being the leader. Anyway, back to the video.
So instantly you're thinking of Guardians of the Galaxy, right? You're thinking of Guardians of the Galaxy. You're thinking of like cosmic space level threats and everything like that. So one of the characters that I'm adding with Star-Lord and Ghost Rider, I would say would be Phyla-Vell. Phyla-Vell is basically Miss Marvel, or I say Miss Marvel, is basically Captain Marvel. I believe she also went by the name of Quasar. Basically, it's kind of a tie-in to both of those because Phyla-Vell being linked to the Kree, I believe, and then being Captain Marvel or taking the mantle for a time and then being Quasar for a time. It kind of combines those cosmic. It kind of combines the cosmic side of it. It It kind of combines the space side of it. It kind of combines the Guardians of the Galaxy side of it. Because if y'all didn't know, Phi Lavelle is actually in that last Guardians of the Galaxy movie that had came out, but she's like a little girl at the time, and she fits like the super powered energy blaster character that we usually get in these types of Marvel games, whether it be like Nova or whether it be just some other character like Captain Marvel from Infinite and stuff like that, right? I believe she'll fit well on that team. And for the last character of the team, Angela on this team rounds it out. Her being a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy before, her being in the realm of heaven, while Robbie Reyes is the spirit of vengeance. So basically, from one of the hell hell realms in Marvel. And last but not least, we have the team being led by Doctor Doom. Again, another interesting team to come out with, because with villains usually, right? Villains in Marvel, especially some of the top tier villains, they don't like to team up. They don't like to team up at all. They like to use and manipulate others, and Doom is definitely one of those that like to use and manipulate others. Doom will team up with you if he believes that he can use you for like a certain purpose, which, I mean, it's Doom, right? That's all I have to say. Like, it is Doom. But the characters who would be on Doom's team, right? Loki. I believe Doom and Loki have teamed up a couple of different times before in the comic books, and they like to try to use each other. Loki being the trickster, and Doom just believing he's superior to everyone else because of his knowledge in magic and his knowledge of and his knowledge just in general, right? Being really smart. And I think like Art System Works really likes like the trickster style characters or the crazy style characters. I'm thinking like Faust and other characters in the past. I believe Loki could translate really well into an anime style fighter. That being said, Loki's also pretty popular at the moment because of not only Marvel Rivals, but he has 2 seasons of his own series. He's been in multiple different Avengers movies, right? Or multiple different Marvel movies in general. And Loki is one of those just overall popular like villain characters, right? And he's teamed up with Doom before. So that's my reasoning for Loki being on Doom's team. The next one is it's kind of controversial. So I'm thinking Kang with each other in the comic books and stuff. Kang and Doom interact all the time. They try to manipulate, use, attack each other all the time. Sometimes they try to kill each other, and then sometimes they don't, because they don't really know what would happen to the timeline if that would happen, right? But Kang being having connections to Doom, him actually being like the main villain for the setup for like the Marvel, whichever Marvel phase that we're going into or that we're on. But the last character I'm thinking is Ultron. And while Doom and Ultron don't actually have like too much interactions, probably outside like very specific moments, Ultron's another one of those characters who thinks they're superior to everybody, especially if they're human, being Doom and Kang. And his interactions with Loki, I'm not entirely sure. I'm gonna have to do some more research on that, right? One thing I love in comics is like interactions between people and when they bring them to games and stuff. But no, Ultron's a very popular villain. I think he would fit well with Doom and Kang and Loki, being as that, you know, Ultron has many different clones and everything that he could use. His synchronization with the technology that Kang could bring, like from the future, or the technology that Doom already has, right? I think those four villains would be a very interesting dynamic. And yeah, for the villains team, we have Doom, we have Kang, we have Ultron, and we have Loki. And that is all the teams in Marvel Rivals. That's my predictions for the teams in Marvel Rivals. No, guys, yeah, y'all tell me y'all's predictions, what y'all think about it, and what characters you would like to see, regardless of whether you how likely they would be in the game. What characters you would like to see in a Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls game. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in and thanks for listening. I'll catch you in the next video. All right, see you later. Peace out.